Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Hurdle the Line. As ever, I am your host, Fletch, and today is a momentous occasion. I will tell you why in just a second if you haven't figured it out already. Joining me for this momentous occasion is Sam, fresh from last night's College Football UK podcast. His voice has not worn out yet, I hope.
No, it's absolutely fine.
I was worried then for a second the way you just smiled and didn't say anything.
Mhm.
Also joining me for this momentous occasion is none other than Carl. How are you, Carl?
I am really good, mate. It's an absolute honor to be doing the 100th episode with you and Sam tonight. It's a big
Yes.
milestone, and this podcast has come a long, long way. So now, props to you, mate, for doing this stellar job, and to the entire team as well. And flipping over to my team, I will hold up the. Oh, you can't see it, but I will hold up the Roman Reigns one because we are top of the AFC, baby. Let's fucking go!
Okay. So, our momentous occasion, which you will not have known already, is this is the 100th episode of Hurdle the Line. 100. So, today's episode is decided beforehand. It is Hurdle that century. And as Carl has said, look, it's just us three on tonight for the 100th. We'll hopefully do something soon to kind of actually celebrate it.
Watch party.
But huge thank you to the lads over on the review team. That is Ollie, Tom, and Chapman. Huge thank you to both of you, Sam and Carl. And we also have to say a huge thank you to DJ, to Ballers Meg, to and everyone we've had on. We haven't had a lot of guests, but we've had some guests over the last year and a half. Huge occasion. Very, very, very grateful to be spending this time with you all. Okay. So, I do have a little 100 thing themed plan later on, which we'll get onto. First, are there any bits of NFL news that have taken place over the last few days since Monday? I know there's a couple of trades, nothing massive.
I'm assuming they talked about the Callahan stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Um,
If you
there's
want
been
to
a
weigh in on
few.
it at all as well, though, please feel free.
I mean, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago, didn't we? Where we were saying whether Callahan should have been sacked or not, and well, he
It was
has
going to
been.
happen.
Yeah.
It was going to happen at some point. I mean, the guy's 419 for Christ's sake. I mean, you can't get away with being a head coach with that sort of record, can you? Um, and it's quite ironic that they fired him literally 7 days before they faced the old adversary that used to be the head coach at the Tennessee Titans. So, but it's a disaster, absolute disaster. They need to, I would say they need to follow the blueprint of basically what we're doing. But that's actually quite insulting because the blueprint is basically what you originally had and you let that go. So it's their loss at the end of the day. They've gone through two different head coaches and two different GMs since Mike Vrabel got fired.
Yeah.
Almost if you don't know, you don't know what you've lost until it's gone.
Yeah. Sorry, Sam, did you have anything else you wanted to?
Um, no, I was just gonna say there's been a few like injury news updates. So basically, the majority of the 49ers team is out still.
ICU nine, ICU, ICU as I think I called him. I've botched that. ICU Niners, ICU Niners. There you go.
Um, Mike Evans is back in practice, so it looks like he could potentially get another start in the league, which I think the Buccaneers are desperate for wide receivers right now.
Ibuka's have a hamstring injury. That's probably him out for a month.
Yeah. Obviously, some of the biggest news you've got. Puka Nakua looks like he's not going to play in London this weekend. Um, and to be honest, even if he was fit enough to play, I would probably not be worth risking him, given that we have the bye week next week. Um, we've got other weapons on there that can do things. They just need to step up.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray looks like he's going to miss another week. Um, and there was another one that I saw. Oh, George Kittle is back in practice. Um, so he's going to be elevated off the IR. Trey Hendrickson was officially questionable yesterday. It looks like he's going to miss tonight's game, or if you're seeing his last night's game.
Yeah.
So he looks like he is going to miss the game,
Yeah,
along with
the injury is back. Bengals defensive end Trey Hendrickson questionable with a back injury. He's expected to be out tonight versus Steelers. Wanted to play, but tough on short turnaround. Hopeful for next week. Did Trey
yeah.
Hendrickson go off injured last week against the Packers?
I
Because I
don't
don't
know if he
recall.
did.
Because I don't recall.
I don't think he did, but
So there's only one or two ways you can spin this. Either A, he had the back injury during he got the back injury during training, which is which can be truthful, or they're icing him because they don't want to destroy his trade value. He
Oh,
is a name on the block for he is on the name on the block for a trade.
I don't know how they could ice his trade value anyway, because if he plays, I think
He's got
not playing him
he's
will do
guaranteed his
more.
the 29 million 1 year contract was fully guaranteed. So
Yeah, but
The Bengals owe him no money whatsoever.
no, but it's more the fact that if you wanted to keep his trade value up, you need to play him. And not playing him doesn't do anything apart from
Or
the fact
maybe
that he does get an
or,
injury.
or maybe there's something that we don't know. Maybe there's something down the line which is saying, right, okay, we're going to take you out of it because we don't want to.
so uh, I do have a source, by the way, that's fed me
It's
the
not Heinz.
information that it was the back injury is due to carrying the fucking franchise for the last 3 weeks.
Carrying that defense.
Carrying
As- I
the
know.
entire defense for the last 3 4 weeks.
The other last bit of news I have is that the Steelers have placed special teams captain Miles Killebrew on IR prior to tonight. So big loss for the Steelers special teams.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's that's kind of where we get to at this point, isn't it? It's like there's the odd trade here and there, nothing of major
Oh,
importance,
the
and
other
it's injuries.
bit of news, which I was going to save for later on, we talked about the London games, but is that the Rams will not be travelling to London until Saturday.
That's bold. That's a
Yeah.
They
bold
will,
move.
so they've been training in Baltimore this
Hmm.
week, and they will travel to London on the Saturday.
Hmm.
Okay. That's a decision.
Yeah, and it could pay off, or it could be a massive fail. We don't know. So
Yeah. Well. There's only one way to find out, and Sam, I hope it is the latter for you. I really, really do.
I believe they were training at Camden Yards. I think there was. They were training at the Baltimore Orioles base at ballpark.
yeah,
Oh, they aren't
So
using it. It's the postseason. So, bang, shots fired at the Baltimore Orioles there. I can't say anything. My team's no longer in the playoffs. Okay, so let's get into a little bit on Monday Night Football. Two games happened that the review team kind of looked at, but not really. I want to do the first game first, and then we can all enjoy the second game. Well, I say second game. I'm going to flip the order in which the games were played. First up, though, we had the Bears and Commanders, which was the second game played at 1:15 in the morning, quarter past over here, 8:15 Eastern. The Bears edge one out 25-24 over the Washington Commanders. Revenge game for the Hail Mary last season. Jaden Daniels back for the first time in a couple of weeks. He goes 19 of 26 for 211 yards, 3 touchdowns and an interception. On the other side of the field, Caleb Williams goes 17 of 29, 252 yards and a touchdown. couple of standout performances before I welcome you two into to have your own say on it. DeAndre Swift, 108 yards on the ground on 14 attempts. He also was the Chicago Bears leading receiver in terms of yardage, 2 receptions for 67 yards with a long of 55. Luther Burden also got 4 of 4 for 51 yards. And a long of 37. No major standout performances on the Commander side of the ball, at least offensively. Moore was the leading receiver with 46 yards. Zach Ertz had more receptions, but 43 yards. Jacoby Krosky Merritt, whatever his name is.
Jacory Koski Merritt.
That's the one. 17 attempts, 61 yards. So, did any of you catch the game? I was watching a different game for the most part, so I didn't watch a lot of this one.
I watched a little bit of this game. I was mostly into the Bills Falcons reason due to for tribalism reasons. But I did flick over after that game had finished to watch the end of the Chicago Washington game. I mean, Troy Aikman's words at the end saying that the Bears were lucky in that game. That's not a disrespect. That's just a fact. They were lucky in that game. Washington had 3 turnovers in that game, and the last one was an absolute backbreaker, or rather a handoff breaker, because the running back and Jaden Daniels didn't get their connection right and fumbled the ball. Obviously. Washington had that game in the palm of their hands. All they had to do was just don't do anything stupid. And lo and behold, guess what? They made a brutal mistake in the fourth quarter. They let the Bears get all the way down into field goal range. They had to rely on the Moody Blues to kick the field goal, but guess what? Jake Moody actually got the game-winning field goal. So a little bit of a redemption story there for Jake Moody. But Bears were lucky in this game. And I'm sorry, everyone's saying, oh, how good Caleb Williams is. I'm sorry, but the guy's an overrated guy. And his press conference at the end was just the sort of entitled little prick that he is. I'm sorry, Caleb's not a good quarterback. Whoop-de-doo had a passer rating of 98.6. Wow, nobody cares. 17 of 29. Okay. I'm sorry, but a proper team that is screwed on would dismantle that Bears team. Sorry, I just don't rate this Chicago team.
I don't know who you're apologising to. Neither of us are Bears fans.
To our viewers who are celebrating our 100th episode.
Frankly, I'm devastated that you would speak so lowly of our division rivals, whom we put nearly 50 points on the other week. I'm just devastated.
Well, I'm gonna blow it out your ass. I don't care about tribalism in the NFC North.
Ollie won't be happy. He likes Caleb, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's his hill to die on. But anyway,
the thing that I've noticed this year, there's been quite a few fumbles where there's been bad handoffs between the running back and the quarterback this year. We've had a couple. Obviously, there was the one in that game. There was also another one that I've seen. It just seems to be becoming a bit of a trend at the moment.
It's basic 101. It's basic 101 football. It's what you learn in Pop Warner. Here, a hand off to the running back.
Who else did it? Someone else did it very recently. Was it maybe the 49ers? So someone did it in one of their games. I'm trying to think who it was now. I can't think who it was.
Well,
it was an absolute howler as well.
I can think of a few where there's been a poor handoff from the centre to the quarterback, but I can't think of too many.
I know we did. It was a Steelers game. The Steelers game. We had a bad handoff in the Steelers game.
Was it for some reason I have this vision that it was a wide receiver doing a cross route run. Was it maybe Chris Olave?
Might have been.
Yeah, no, it was Zay Flowers. It was Zay Flowers.
No, it was Zay Flowers. Yeah, Zay Flowers.
Yes,
absolutely. I mean, to be fair, he had an absolute stinker all game, but that was the big one that he let go. Yeah,
Yeah,
because I knew it was recent because I remember seeing it and thinking, what? Because it was part of the period in the game where just God knows everything was going wrong on both sides. So yeah, Zay Flowers. I knew it was someone. Just couldn't think of who it was, but yeah, it was Zay Flowers. I
as
don't know what's happening at the moment with that. There just seems to be a lot of it at the moment, and I don't know
yeah,
if it's just lack of concentration or bad pass. Like QB's just not like paying respect to the play or whatever. But yeah, just seems to be happening a lot.
yeah. Quick question on this. Well, it's related to the game, but it isn't about the game. The NFC North. Now, here's one for your tribalism within the NFC North, Carl. I'm going to make you talk about the division now. The Green Bay Packers sit at the top, 3-1-1. Detroit Lions in second, 4-2-0. Minnesota Vikings and the Chicago Bears both 3-2. Right. The only division in the entire NFL where all teams are a +5 above 500. We all know that by week 8, the Bears fade away into remembering the amazing off
Obscurity.
season. They yeah, they walk away and grab hold of that off season champions trophy and just kind of ride off into the sunset as they do. Is this right now? Could this potentially go on to be the best division in football right now?
Most
If
competitive.
if the Bears are going to continue to win as well, and the Vikings have shown vulnerability, but again, Kevin O'Connell knows how to get wins. This could be the best division in football.
I think so. Yeah, I definitely think so. If you look at where else is going on in the league, the Steelers are sleepwalking their way to the AFC North. You know, AFC East has not been has been competitive in like 30 odd years. So let's be real. AFC West has been a one horse race. The AFC South has been circling the drain. It's been close, but close like like 9, 8, 7 wins and so on, and nothing really drastic. I think the only division I can think of that got really competitive and teams were all above 500 was the NFC West. That was the last time I can recall
Yeah.
of anything that happening like that. So yeah, the NFC North is definitely the most competitive. But we all know, but there is a saying, the cream always rises to the top. And at some point, Chicago will fall off, and Minnesota have got a quarterback problem. Bounce it to him Wentz will only take them so far, and JJ McCarthy, he's played 8 quarters and played one brilliant one and played 7 awful.
You talk about our boy like that. Yeah. No, you're right. These are 4 teams that the Bears still. We need more information on them, but Kevin O'Connell knows how to win football games with a team. He just knows how to make wins happen. The Packers are the Packers, and they frustratingly, annoyingly just have the thing where they just know how to win as a franchise. It seems to be a thing that they do. And then the Lions have obviously over time figured out how to make sure they win games. It's going to be an interesting one, and again, it may come down to division record, who takes that division. And obviously, at this moment in time, the Packers have
I
the
think
edge on that
there's
one.
a few divisions at the moment which I think are really, bar one team, are in the balance.
NFC
In
West
terms
has
of
to be one.
the NFC West, obviously is at the moment the Niners are riding on the fact that they probably have the easiest schedule going in the whole of the league.
Mm.
Um, the Seahawks are playing well, and the Rams
But can't win
are
at home.
and the Rams are flattering to deceive at the moment. I don't know what we. I mean, I'll have my say on that when we talk about the London game, but
Mm.
Yeah,
I'm not totally convinced by us at the moment. And then the other one is it's still the AFC West. The Chargers are 4-2, Broncos are 4-2, and the Chiefs are 3-3. You know, take the Raiders out of it, you've got 3 teams that could potentially, it could go either way in terms of where that division goes.
yeah,
And I think to a certain degree, the NFC West is, although the Eagles are the much better team, the way that the season has started and the way the Eagles have suddenly decided to shit the bed, that's another one that could go either way because they're still the Giants seem to still be looking okay. They're not great, but they're looking okay. If they can maybe pick up a piece or two in the trade before the trade window closes, then they could have a real potential involvement in that league or in that division, should I say? And then the rest of it is kind of one or two teams doing well in the league in their division. So
Yeah. Okay. Appreciate
I've said for a few years now that I think that the NFC North is the best division in at the moment, or at least the most competitive.
I think
Yeah.
I'll stand on the AFC is very top heavy. It has the best teams, but it's top heavy, and then it has the worst teams as well within that. The NFC is a lot more competitive with a.
There's a lot more balance.
It's not as top heavy, but
Mm.
it obviously we have some couple of terrible teams. Sorry, Mrs. Fletch, the Saints, but we also have. You also have the Eagles in that, but then like I say, it's just a bit more competitive throughout. Now on to a game on Monday night where all three of us, I think, have a stake in this game to walk away and be happy with. Carl, the Bills lost. And the New England Patriots rise to first overall, well, first in the AFC East. Sam, Bijan Robinson, man.
He had a day,
Bijan
didn't he?
Robinson.
Had a
And
day.
myself to take away from this, someone for the last couple of weeks has come on and maybe downplayed a little bit of how good the Bills are. Someone went on Monday night and spoke to Chapman on the review show and said, I think the Bills can be taken here.
I listened. I listened with great intent when I listened to that. And I'm thinking, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
I so all I'm
Lead
saying
him
is
into a false sense of security. Lead him into a false sense of security. But actually, you
um
led him to the promised land. So there you go.
I mean, yeah, look, at the end of the day, like I've said this to I said this like I don't truly believe in angry team. I don't think angry teams are a good thing, especially when your team can naturally get a bit erratic anyway, and your quarterback, as great as he is, has problems with errant throws and being a bit all over the place. I'm going to repeat my point one more time. Then I'm going to let Sam get on his box about Bijan Robinson because, my friend, you have deserved the opportunity to do so. And then, Carl, I'm going to let you finish up this one with you get on your soapbox about the Patriots being number one in the division. Don't even care if you mention the Bills, right?
Okay.
Because I'll do all the Bills talking right now. Again, the Bills are 4-2. Their 4 wins come against teams that are now, as of this weekend, 3-21. All 4 of those teams lost this weekend still. Twice now, they have come up against teams that have 2 wins or more at the time of facing that team. The Bills have lost both of those games. The Patriots were 2-2. Bills lost. The Falcons were, I believe, 2-2, weren't they? Because they had the first bye week. So they were 2-2.
Yeah.
They were 2-2, yeah.
They lost. Again, I'm not quite saying the Bills are frauds, but I'm saying they're going on the list of fraud watch. We need to see more. We'll obviously get into them a little bit later on. Now, Sam, in this game, Bijan Robinson had an alright game in the air. 6 receptions, 68 yards, and then had a little bit better. It was an okay game on the ground with just 19 attempts and that 170 yards, just your average normal game. If he was at Texas playing against Sam Houston State, what a game. What a
Yeah.
game by Bijan.
We're starting to the one thing I've been saying about the Falcons has really annoyed me over the last few years since Bijan has been in the league is they put a what do you call it? The what you stick on cars to stop it from moving. The big metal boot that they stick on the cars to stop them
Oh,
moving.
God, I can't think of the name now.
But either way,
Yeah.
they've had that. They've shackled Bijan and kept the handbrake on. We'll use that terminology. And Raheem Morris has finally got rid of the handbrake, and we're starting to see the Bijan Robinson everyone expected to come into the league. He's just this year he's up there as potentially being the RB1 for this year.
Hmm.
I mean, there's a couple. I still think CMC is up in there. Jonathan Taylor is definitely up in that question or up in that category. But I think he's starting to prove why he was drafted number 7 by the Falcons in 2023. So yeah, we're finally getting to see the proper Bijan Robinson. The Bijan Robinson, like I say, that played at Texas and absolutely balled out. Um, and yeah, it's great to be able to see him play. And I mean, I'd rather he was doing it for the Rams, but still getting to actually watch him is great. I'd quite like to see him just get a few more touchdowns now. Just finish off those drives. I think obviously Algier is still there, and they put a lot of faith in Algier in the year before they took Robinson, so he'll obviously be involved still. I did also want to give a mention as well to Drake London, who had a brilliant game as well. He 158 yards, 1 touchdown, 10
Mhm.
receptions. So yeah, it was just, I think overall just a great game. We're starting to see um, the Falcons piece it together on offense, which we haven't really seen over the last few years. Um, and I actually like that Penix is, because was it the last game that the Falcons played before their bye, where Kirk Cousins came on after Penix just got a bit embarrassed
Uh,
against the Pack. Was it who was it the Falcons played? Sorry, the week before against the Panthers.
yeah.
Um, and he's come back and you know shown what he can do when he's actually playing well, and taking down one of the better, what has been dubbed one of the better teams in the league. So yeah, props to Atlanta. Um, and yeah, finally they're actually seem to be looking more like a team, and I think maybe this is where the turning point is for Raheem as well. We might be able to enjoy the happy, smiley coach.
Yeah. Carl. Oh, sorry. By the way, just one last little mention there. As you've said, that absolute Drake London absolutely deserves a shout out, 158 yards in the air. But the Bills, sorry, not the Bills, the Bijan Robinson had a total of 238 yards from
Mm-hmm.
scrimmage. That's unreal.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And if anyone saw it, the 81-yard touchdown run was phenomenal. And it's not bad for one, a B-Tech Jameer Gibbs. I'm sorry, joking. But it's exactly what you want to see out of a Bijan Robinson. That's why you took him there in the draft, because they're the plays you want someone like him to be making. And I think I remember tweeting out as it kind of happened, Bijan Robinson, catch him if you can. Just FYI, you can't. It's just not going
Mm-hmm.
to happen. So, and then Carl, right? Going to you, as I've said, Bills potentially vulnerable. Now lost two. What was one of the last two remaining teams undefeated. Now they've lost two in a row. I'm not asking if there's alarm bells ringing at the Bills. I'm asking just how confident are you right now as a Patriots fan that the AFC East is open and open for business and ready to be taken.
We're still the Patriots are still going to take this game by game, week by week. Okay, I don't think you can look into it this early in. And okay, we're sitting at 4-2. Okay, we beat the Bills, so we get the tiebreaker and so on. Um, both teams have got fairly weak schedules, shall we say? I know the Bills have got a slightly tougher one. They've got the Eagles to play, they've got the Chiefs to play, they've got the Buccaneers to play. Well, so do we, but you get what I mean. So the chance, I wouldn't say the AFC East is wide open. AFC East being wide open is basically the Jets and the Dolphins are challenging as well. And let's be real, they're still circling the drain. So it is between us and the Bills. The thing I'm going to say is, okay, the Bills have, they knew that something was coming eventually. They've had 5 years, 5 to 6 years of dominating the AFC East to win the AFC Championship and go to a Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl. They had the team to do it in the previous years. This year, I know injuries have played their part in it, but that defense looks shocking. No wonder Bijan Robinson had a field day. No wonder he had a field day. I'll say this: since Buffalo went went 4-0. They play teams that either had one win or less. At the time, the Saints were at this time after that week 4. The Saints were 1-3. Sorry, the Saints were 1-4. The Dolphins were 1-4. The
Yeah.
Jets no wins.
Well,
And then they beat a Ravens team, which really, if the Ravens didn't have a case of avian flu in the fourth quarter, they probably would have shut. They probably would have closed it out against Buffalo. So they've played weak defenses so far, and then they come up against a rebuilding Patriots team that's sitting at 2-2, right? And then that would say lay an egg against us, but they they came up short. They came up short against us. And then you go into this Falcons game, and they needed a reprieve. They needed a bounce back. But the Falcons were just dialed in. Their game plan was spot on. They stacked the box. They controlled James Cook. I mean, James Cook did have 17 carries for 87 yards, but I reckon the bulk of that was in the second half when they decided, oh, okay, I think we have to give James Cook the ball now. They contained Josh Allen for as much as they could. They sacked him 4 times, I believe, in the game. Hang on, let me just check the box score. Where is it?
Yeah, four sack.
They sacked him 4 times and they hit him 6 times. They completely shell shocked Josh Allen in that game. It is a tad concerning. The Bills will get it together, but though there is one glaring problem with Buffalo. They don't have that number one guy at receiver anymore.
yeah.
Stephon Diggs worked incredibly well for Josh Allen. Incredibly well. And then they deviate away to try and just spread the ball out to everyone. And what happened? Diggs got the arse ache and he went to Houston. Well, since then, Josh Allen's passing and his yardage hasn't been great.
No.
So they're missing that number one guy. Maybe they'll go into the trade deadline. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they could get AJ Brown. Maybe they could get Chris Olave. Maybe they could get someone because they need a number one receiver right now. But the AFC East is to play for between two teams, and that's
Yeah.
all I'll say on the matter. The one caveat, again, well done to
I can't
Atlanta.
believe you have such faith in the Jets. I really don't.
Mhm.
Who said I had faith in the Jets?
It's between two teams, so I'm assuming you mean the Patriots and the Jets.
In an alternative inflated universe, maybe, but no, that's not what we're thinking of here.
2003.
2003, flipping hell. I was still in secondary school then.
I think the one good thing for the Bills is they've got a bye week this week.
Yeah.
It's come at the right time for them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Two
Yes.
straight losses. It's come at the right time. Reset and go again. The problem is, though, their next game is against Carolina. Now, if Carolina somehow beat, I hope to God that Carolina beat the Jets. If Carolina do, they've now won 4 straight. So the Bills are going in off the bye week playing an over 500 team again. So they're going to lose to Carolina in next week. Because they can't afford to lose to Carolina again, because guess who they got coming up? Oh, that's it. Chiefs. They don't want to drop to. They do not want to drop to four. They want to drop to 4-4 after week 8.
No.
They do not. Sorry, week 9. Beg your pardon.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. Right. I'm sure we'll get into this a little bit more in one of the little conversations we're due to have. I just want to note this after week 6, right? If we were to play a game of stop the count, playoffs
Stop
now.
it. Stop it now. Stop it now. Stop it now.
Thank you for the round of applause there, Carl. A Kirby Smart
A Kirby
round of
Smart
applause.
special.
I just think this is funny. This is if you were to stop the count, start the playoffs now. In the AFC, it'd be the Broncos at the Steelers, your wild card. The Jags at the Chargers. The Bills at the Patriots, and then the Colts will get a bye week. No Chiefs, no Texans, no Bengals,
No
no
Ravens.
Ravens. Go down to the NFC. You
Three
will
NFC
have
West teams.
you would have the Rams at the Packers, the Lions at the
Ooh.
49ers, and the Seahawks at the Eagles, with Tampa Bay getting a bye week. There will be no Vikings. There will be no Cowboys. There will be no Commanders.
Did you say
No.
it'd be the Lions at the Niners? Because I've got it that it would be the Seahawks at the Niners, Lions at the Eagles.
This is per NFL GSIS, and it's only because Seattle are. So yeah, the Niners, according to NFL GSIS, they have a conference record of 4-1, whereas the Seahawks are 2-2 in conference. So they would get the
Yeah,
tiebreaker.
so the 49ers would be third, and then the Eagles would be fourth because they only have a 3-1. The Lions would be fifth with the 4-2 in the 1-1 conference and the 3-1 AFC over the 2-0.
So it were both Seahawks and the Lions are 0.500 in the conference, but Seahawks have a better strength of victory at 0.478, whereas the Lions are 0.304.
I've got it as the playoffs as you fifth and them sixth, based upon
Right.
what they've got in front of me,
Right, okay.
which would have you playing the Eagles. But
Which, yeah.
either way, the Seahawks Niners game would be hilarious in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And to be fair, Eagles Lions would be a fun game in the wild card, wouldn't it?
Yeah, for a wild card game as well, that
Mm.
like
But I think
to
we can
get
just point out the fact that there are three NFC West teams in that stop the clock. That is, and they say that the NFC North
North.
yeah.
is the best division.
Um all right. Okay, so want to get on to we'll play a game of as well put forward by Carl here. We're gonna call it Contenders or Pretenders. Carl, I'm gonna gather you mean which teams are the real contenders, which teams are the
Mm-hmm.
um. So I will put forward to start this off and to just kind of bring us back from the conversation we've just had. The Bills are pretenders right now.
No, no, that would just be very, very disingenuous of me to say that. No, the Bills are contenders. I don't think they're as good as what they were last year, but they still have a fairly easy schedule ahead of them, and they are going to be amongst the running now. Whether they win the AFC East or not is yet to be decided yet. But I think they need to win the AFC East to even have a sniff of a chance of making it again to the AFC Championship. I generally do. Um, they need help on the defensive side of the ball. They need corner help. They need safety help desperately. But no, the Bills are contenders. Bills are contenders. They're not pretenders in this case. They're not.
Okay.
When we mean contenders or pretenders, are we saying contenders for the playoffs? Or are we saying contenders for the Super Bowl?
Let's say contenders for the Super Bowl because we say pretenders for if we say playoffs, we might be here all night.
Yeah. My only thing is I still think at this stage the Jaguars are pretenders at this stage. I think they're in a position where they're in a very easy division. And I don't think, looking at the games that they've played, probably apart from, I would say, the Chiefs win, I think the rest, they've lost to the Bengals, they lost to the Seahawks. The only other teams that they've beaten were the Panthers in week one, the Panthers were trash.
Mm-hmm.
The Texans,
Who are trash?
we were trash, and the Niners, who have been injured. Now, in terms of the other players that are available, or the other games that they're going to be playing, this week will be the test of whether they are a pretender or whether they are a contender, in my opinion, because they've got to play the Rams. And yes, okay, we don't have Puka, but we're still, we're up there in terms of the teams that are being placed up there in terms of the teams that are going to be potentially in the playoffs. After that, Raiders, Texans, Chargers, Cardinals, Titans, Colts. The only other game I can see there that's a real test are the two Colts games, the Broncos and the Chargers. Now that could just be that because of the I'm not trying to say that the Jaguars aren't good, but I just think that they're benefiting from having an easy schedule. And I think that's more of the cases that I think that when they come up against a team in the playoffs, I don't think they'd win the game.
Yeah.
And that's where I would say that they're a pretender, and just sort of benefiting from a good schedule or a good situation.
I'm gonna throw a contender out there before I throw a pretender out there. It pains me to say it. The Steelers are contenders.
Nope.
They are a lot better than I thought they were gonna be.
Nope.
Now, if they go in, I would say they play tonight, they could go 5-1, call the division theirs already, right? You can call the AFC North to them in week 7, pretty much now. Then, if they can go out and they can add a true wide receiver 2 in via trades, that offense looks a lot better than it's better than it was last season. If they can get a true wide receiver 2, and this is why when I think when you're mentioning Chris Olave, and a couple other names out there, I say the Steelers go out and try and make those phone calls. I say the Steelers go for one. If they can get someone like that in the building, just elevate that, give Rodgers a couple more. The defense is playing to a high level. The offense is playing to a higher level.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Tomlin,
Mm-hmm.
you can cakewalk a lot of the last half of that season, apart from when Kirby Joseph plays against his son Aaron Rodgers just before Christmas. I genuinely
It
think that
does.
the Steelers are contenders.
The Steelers seem to be getting the best out of an aging quarterback, which we know with when they had Big Ben, they do always seem to get the best out of a guy who has the mobility of, well, a 90-year-old woman. So I understand that, but I think the problem I have at the moment is I think that the AFC has been flipped on its head due to some major injuries and teams massively underperforming, and it's starting to make it look like actually that there are a couple of teams there that probably you wouldn't have expected, but actually have just continued on their path. So, and I think the Steelers are like that. I think, you look at their division at the start of the season, and you probably think they were probably going to be challenging for second, maybe even be finishing third, but they're now top of their division and second in the rankings in the AFC. Um, so possibly, I think the one team that I think is, and I'm still unsure on, but I'm going to say that they're a contender, is the Colts. And although it's Danny Dimes, and we have watched him. He does. He's played well, and I think it's at some point we've got to just kind of accept the fact that they would be 6-0 if it wasn't for Adonai Mitchell. They'd have beaten us if Adonai Mitchell could, remember how to hold a ball going over the line and not make holds and that. So I I I think that they've found themselves in a position where yes, they are playing against teams that are struggling and aren't very good,
Yeah.
but they're also doing it very convincingly. And with one of the big things that they've always struggled with is the running back situation. Now Jonathan Taylor is fit and we're seeing him at his best. That's playing it massively into their hands. Their defense has always been pretty good. And they're just finding ways to win games. And, maybe they are being driven on by their owner passing away, and it's actually driving them towards potentially being the number one seed. I mean, they're the number one seed now, but potentially
Yeah.
keeping hold of that number one seed.
Doing it for her sake. I'll say, at the end of the day, and as much as I agree with everything you said, the Colts, not only are they winning, but they're looking good while doing it, and they do it. You look at what we had to talk about when we talk about college football. There's you go up against, there's a way of winning games that matters more than winning the game per se. Beating a bit of a nobody 23-10 is not good enough. If you beat them 56 to 3, that's the win you're kind of looking for, and the winning games the right way. Other than, I think, the Cardinals game, where you should not be letting the Cardinals run you up that close and only winning by 4 points. I think you need to put in the Cardinals to bed, given that the woes they had the week before as well.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Uh,
they've actually got a serviceable quarterback in last week. That was the only fundamental difference.
I mean, that's true.
Good old brisket.
Yeah, um, they they've got a test this weekend in the Chargers.
Yep.
That's someone who knows how to coach. You're going up against a decent quarterback in a very good quarterback in Justin Herbert. Sorry.
They'll probably be going up against the new head coach of the Tennessee Titans the following week.
Will they
If
have a
I
new
had
head
to,
coach, or is it an interim?
well, it's an interim right now.
Yeah,
Is
Oh,
it?
they're going to give him till the end of the year, from what I've seen.
Oh, okay.
okay.
Well, okay. Colts win that game then. Okay,
James
that.
Franklin don't have that much of a duty to mitigate then.
No, not that much. He's still, mate. He's sitting on $49 million. Let's be real. I'm looking at the Colts schedule now. So yeah, Chargers, Titans, and they were on the road to the Steelers. Tough ask.
So,
At home to Atlanta.
yeah,
Oh, is that the German game?
Yes,
That's a German
yeah,
game. Okay,
9:30 a.m.
neutral field, so that could go either way. Then
that'd be a really good game, by the way, I think.
that'll be an amazing game. Then they're
Once,
on the road to the Chiefs. So there's the potentiality if it doesn't all fall in their favor, one, two, three, four, they could lose 4 of their next 5.
definitely, but that second half of the season is a good chunk harder than this first half. But after the bye week, you've
I
got the
think that
Chargers. That's a tough game. Sorry, one sec. Sorry, Sam. The Chargers are a tough game. The Titans probably going to be a bit easier. Then you got Steelers, Falcons, Chiefs, Texans, Jags, uh, twice, Seahawks, Niners, Texans. Like that. That's a much tougher schedule than that first half, and you'll probably see what the dream
Mm.
made of then. Sorry, Sam.
I was going to say, I think if they go into that bye week and they are 9-1 or 8-2, then I think we can comfortably say that they probably are contenders.
Yeah,
Because
I
that would
agree.
be essentially they'd either be winning all their games or losing one, maybe losing two. Even at 7-3, you're still in a very good position.
After the
But
Chiefs, yeah,
if they're 8-2, then
yeah, after
after
the
that it's It's
after
pretty
Chiefs, they got
straightforward.
after Chiefs, they got to play the Texans twice. They got to play the Jags twice. They got to play the 49ers, and they got to play the Colts.
The Seahawks, you mean?
Seahawks, beg your
They are
pardon.
the
Yeah,
Colts.
yeah. Sorry.
That seems a bit of a cheaty game. That play yourself.
Yeah,
I'd lose me just to. I'd
that's
ask
a
my other me to
that's
lose.
a biblical one on my behalf. Sorry about that.
Um, one of them kind of spring practice games, is it?
I,
Uh,
th- I think if
It's on
I
the
think if
14th of
they
December. It can't be that much.
I think if they can maintain the way that they're playing throughout the rest of the season, then I think they can potentially win a fair few of those games. I just think it'll just come down to uh, does Danny Dimes come out? Do we start seeing the real Daniel Jones, or do we continue with this Indiana Jones
That's the
esque guy?
slight worry that I had. And I put it in the same ballpark as as Jacksonville. I think they've got a good, solid team. Both teams have. Their running backs are very, very good. They've got a good defensive lines. Jacksonville turning their defense into Saxonville 2.0. But it's the quarterbacks that absolutely worry me. And let's be real, Daniel Jones has only thrown, what, 8 touchdowns so far this season? Not exactly blowing up the stat board, is he? So that's the only thing that's slightly
50,
worried. Sorry.
yeah, 1,500 yards, eight
Mm.
touchdowns, and three interceptions.
Yeah, the interceptions is fine. Okay, it's good for but it just worries me. I think some because we saw let's go through their fixtures again. So just to clarify. So they slapped up the Dolphins pretty comfortably. They squeaked past the Broncos.
I think it's a good victory though against the Broncos.
It is a good victory. I'll give them, pardon me. I'll give them that. They then slapped up the Titans pretty comfortably, losing to the Rams. I think that was their biggest test, and they fell short.
I, but again, I think that was solely down to two idiotic plays. Because otherwise, if they'd have got that touch, if Adonai Mitchell had walked that touchdown as you expect him to do, they'd have probably gone on to win that game fairly, not comfortably, but they would have won that game. They gave up two touchdowns themselves. That would have put them in. That would have given them the win. So
Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Unfortunately, it's the
yeah,
same reason. If we hadn't fumbled the ball 5 times, we'd have beat the Steelers. We'd be 5-1, and probably we will be like the second seed in the AFC. If my auntie had ball, she'd be my uncle type of freaking
yeah,
wording
but I think
on that
it's
one.
more the fact that they were two plays away from winning that game potentially, and that's although that's the difference between being a great team and being a good team. It's more the fact that they didn't. It wasn't as if they went to the Rams and got slapped up. They put up a good fight. They almost won that game and then lost it. Whereas every other game, bar obviously the Cardinals, which they nearly messed about with, and the Broncos, they slapped up the Raiders as well. So yes, they're winning the games comfortably that they should win, and they've lost probably the one game that you would expect them to lose. So you like I say
Okay.
the next four games are the test. Can they beat the Chargers? That'll be the first. That's this weekend. Can they beat the Chargers? After that, it's a win, and then it's two teams which are going to be decided on for me whether they'll be whether the current contender situation it's that potential of are they actually the team that we are saying they are, or are they frauds?
Mm.
And that's why I think the when that bye week comes, depending on where they're at that bye week, because if they lose three of those next four games, they're 6-4. Well, there's no way that anyone's seeing them as contenders.
Okay, let's switch over to the NFC, shall we? Because we have
I
spent a
what? Yeah.
fair bit of time on the AFC. So let's switch over to the NFC, shall we? I'll throw one team out there, which I think is the potential contender, but they're going to need a lot to go their way. Atlanta.
They're not in my contender category. There's a long way to go before they enter my contender category. Great win for him on Monday. Um, and for the sake of Chapman, I want them. I want all of our teams to do well. Like obviously, only Sam and Chapman only want your teams to only do so well. Given divisional uh no conference implications. But yeah, there's so much that needs. I have not seen a consistent, well performing Atlanta team since
The year they got to the Super Bowl.
for years. Matt Ryan
Hmm.
was the quarterback.
Yeah,
Um,
since they were at the Super Bowl was the last time I
yeah,
saw a consistent Falcons.
I I want them to do well. I just need to see more. I need to see the things that matter. I need to see it has to be until then. Like the whole it's the Chiefs until it's not. At the end of the similarly in turn, you can show me some even when the Chiefs were crap, it's the Chiefs until it's not. But similarly in return, you can have a couple of good games, that's fine. But I need to see this on a consistent basis for me to start giving you those
And
sort of props.
I think they've got a good few games coming up now where that could be a decider in terms of that consistency.
Yeah,
They've got the Niners next. The Niners are banged up, but they are starting to bring a few pieces back. We know Shanahan knows how to coach a team,
yeah,
so it is quite possible that could they could easily lose that game. They could easily win that game. After that is the Dolphins. Well, yeah. Then it's the Patriots. Now again, another game where they could easily win that game, or they could easily lose that game. And I think that these sorts of 50-50 games are the ones that are going to be the deciders in terms of their season. And if they can
yep,
be, like you say, if they can be consistent, if they can get wins against the Niners, against the Patriots, against the Colts, if they can beat the Panthers, because again, it's a team that they always seem to have a bit of fun with and, win one, lose one, and all of that. And then after that, apart from the Buccaneers and the Rams, they should be winning the rest of their game. Maybe the Seahawks as well. They should be winning the rest of those games. So the next 5 game stretch will decide their season in terms
yeah,
of whether they're contenders or pretenders.
yeah. No, they always have the Bucks. I think for me is the game where you really, really know if they're still hot on the Bucks' heels and they go and beat the Bucks in week 15 at the Bucks. There are a couple of wins in there, great. Like you go get those wins, like good for you. If you could, you got the revenge game against the Panthers at home. You don't just want to win that one. You don't just want to win it because it's a divisional game. You want to win it because they stopped you from scoring. You want to put up enough points to make up for both of those games. The Colts, yeah, yeah. There are some massive games there that like you need to. Yeah, the Falcons have. It's okay losing to it to an extent. It's okay losing to the Bucks, or it's okay losing to the Rams, say at the end of the season, the Seahawks. Like these are really good teams. If you can keep the game close, it's kind of okay. The moral victory side of things. Yeah, it's against the likes of that Saints game or that Dolphins game or that Patriots game or the whatever. They're the games that we've struggled seeing the Falcons win on regular occasions.
I was going to say, that they are going to go into one of those Saints games religiously, will lose one of those games, if not two of them. They
Absolutely,
always seem to struggle against the Saints, and they need to get over the line against them at this stage.
yeah. If
Um,
if that does happen, by the way, one of those two games does fall in the way of the Saints, you can watch that review episode as Mrs. Fletcher will probably end up making an appearance and giving Chapman some shit.
um, I'm going to put my neck out here a bit.
Yeah.
This may be a bit of a hot take.
Oh,
Ouch.
I think that the Packers are pretenders.
glad those words never left my mouth because I'd get called all sorts by
Um,
someone tomorrow. Sam,
I,
can I'm
Okay,
I
I'm happy to go down this rabbit hole for this debate. Why?
I'm happy to just listen.
look at the games that they've played. Yes, okay, start the season, beat the Lions, beat the Commanders, lost to the Browns, drew with the Cowboys, and then I would say not particularly convincing in a win against the Bengals, a team
Yeah.
that,
Bengals.
you know, are not great. You would expect a team like the Packers, especially with the situation how bad the Bengals are defensively, you would expect them to go and put on a masterclass against them. I'm just not convinced by again, it's that consistency when it comes to playing. There's just something about this Packers team I'm just not convinced by. I don't think that they are as good as they make out they are. And I'm not convinced. I could quite easily see them losing against the Steelers, losing against the Eagles. They could easily lose against the Vikings and the Lions. They're always due to lose a game against the Bears at some point. And again, I know this comes back to the whole idea of that they are in a very strong division, but I think that they are good enough to get in the playoffs. I don't, not against them. They will get to the playoffs. I just don't think they have that extra something to take them to the next level to get to that Super Bowl, and that's my concern.
Yeah. I'm going to refrain from comment on this one. I'm just gonna enjoy everything I heard Sam say. Carl, have you got anything to say in rebuttal?
Nothing to rebuttal really. I understand where Sam's coming from and that, but I just think the Packers. I do look at their schedule. It does get a little bit dicey. Okay, they got the Cardinals this week, so
Yeah, debatable.
that's a debatable one to say the least. Then they got Sunday Night Football against the Steelers. You know Aaron Rodgers is going to be up for that one. They then play the frisky Pack and Panthers. Yes, I'll call them frisky now because of the way they've been performing recently. Uh, shout out to Tiny Temper. They
Tuesday,
then
Monday
put
night against the Eagles.
yeah, for Monday night against the Eagles. Then they got the Giants, who are rejuvenated thanks to and Scat and the B Tech Stone Cold Steve Austin at running back.
The psycho.
Psycho, yeah. Viking. They then got the Vikings, and then got the Lions again, which is obviously Thanksgiving. Um,
The Bears.
The Bears, then Broncos, Bears again. Then they got the Ravens, and then they got
I think
two
that Ravens
softball
team,
opponents.
that Ravens team will be different at the end of the season than they are now. I think
Yeah,
defense will still be
but
crap.
they'll be on the beach in Cancun by then because they won't be.
The defense will still be trash, but at least the
Yeah.
offense will be slightly better.
They'll be on the beach in Cancun. I've already said that.
Yeah. Um,
But then obviously the final game against the Vikings. So I just think that it's a very NFC North heavy ending, which always will cause problems. You want it to be more
yeah.
spread out, I think.
Yeah. I mean, we've had a couple of them towards the end of the season that the division games just seem to rack up at the end of the season, and it's like for crying out loud, man. Because the thing you get with a lot, I think, end of season divisional games is I guess you play the Ravens there that, you know, Lamar Jackson sipping a pina colada on the sidelines. John Harbaugh is probably like
So no,
waiting for
joking.
waiting at the line, waiting in line ready to cash his whatever they're called checks in America, the basically job center. Um, but divisional games at that point don't matter if the Bears are out of contention for playoffs by that point. They want to ruin your parade.
Yeah,
They don't care. Like if they can't win the division, if your divisional rival can't win the division, they don't care who wins the division.
mm,
They're just upset that it's not them. And if I'm coming up against you next week, F you specifically, I want to ruin your day. I want to
mm,
ruin your season. I could play the two teams that are up for the division together. Each time, I just want to ruin your day because you're my division rival.
You're
So
an arse.
yeah, well, yeah, but like even
They've got
okay,
they've got to they've got to face three of them on the bounce as well.
Mm.
yeah, you,
Two of them are home games, and then they've got to go, and in between they've got to go to the Lions.
on a short week. Oh, granted, the Lions have got a short week, but we've got a short week at home. They've got a short week traveling.
Yeah, but I just think to have to look at their schedule after you look at the Cardinals, Steelers, Panthers, Eagles, and Giants, they are going to be very physical games.
Yeah,
To then have to go from that to play the Vikings, the Lions, the Bears, to then have to play the Broncos, who are probably going to be pushing for contention in the AFC. So that's not going to be an easy game. To then have to go back to the Bears and then obviously the Ravens. But that stretch could destroy their season. And I
Mm.
just
yeah,
this is the worry that I have, is that I just think that there's a potential that they could easily lose games that could cause upsets and difficulties because of the fact that they're divisional games at such an important time.
yeah,
And that's why I think that for me they're pretenders for this. This is why I asked at the start, are we talking playoffs or Super Bowl? And that's why I think from a Super Bowl perspective, I think they're pretenders, because
um,
I just don't see them being that team to take it to the next level like we've seen the Eagles do, like we've seen, other teams do. So for
yeah.
me, that's why I see them as pretenders.
Um, I've got one contender and one pretender before we move on
Go on then.
from the NFC. My contender is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, that's
My
obvious.
pretender is the Eagles.
You just stole my thunder. Because the pretend I was going to go for next. No, I agree with the Eagles. I agree with the Eagles. They're not right. They are not right at the minute.
Yeah, something's really wrong. We know that this roster can do it. We know what this roster can do. They've had a lot of change on that defense, particularly on the defensive front. Zadarius Smith ran out that building as quickly as he could as soon as he realised they'd lost two on the bounce and he was about to go on a generational downfall. Um, but no, it's like it's I think I'm just looking at the problems they've got inside, and I'm thinking I don't know what it is that can save you, because I don't think it's one thing that can save you. And there are two. We've had the AJ Brown, Jalen Hurts debate before. This is not the first time this has popped up. It's not the first time AJ Brown might want to leave has come up, but this is the first time where I think they've had. And we saw them 2 years ago. They completely capitulated their entire season in the second half of the season. Just got to the playoffs, but I think that's the year they got bounced by the Bucks. So yeah, I'm worried that this team is not it. They've got all the
Is it
talent,
is it possible that they've become predictable
possibly, very
and
possibly.
Too predictable.
too predictable? Because
Hmm.
you look at last season and how explosive and effective Saquon Barkley was, and this season he's not been that. And it also feels like they've sort of tried to move away from Barkley a bit. And then that's because when they then have gone to him, it's been predictable because they need him to make up those plays. Whereas before, it was you didn't know who they were going to use and you didn't know how they were going to play. Now that comes from the head coach or from the offensive coach, who they don't have anymore. And that also plays a massive part because they are now that offense was set up to play in that way. Now, yes, okay, they've had issues with the O line this year and whatnot, but losing a very effective offensive coach to a team that is so well worked in that way to then have to go on to something else, it can take a long time to sort out, even for the ones where the stars are. And like, they've got to keep a lot of high profile players happy. They've all
Yeah.
got to be playing well. They've all got to be targeted. They've all got to see enough of the ball. And that can also have the negative of, well, like we're seeing with AJ Brown not getting the targets that he wants and not getting the plays that he wants. And I just think that there's a lot that can go wrong with having so many stars in one team. And it feels like that's the way it's going.
Yeah. Um,
For saying
not
that, I
all the
think they'll
time.
sort it out. I think they'll sort it out at some point, but they do
Yeah.
need to sort it out very quickly because they've, again, as we've
Two
talked
months.
before, their schedule can be
It's
like I said,
that's
they could easily be going into that bye week 4-4.
yeah. Um, very easily, and we know the Giants are not going to be a slouch. But you come out of that bye week. Let's say you do go into that bye week 4-4, or actually no, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt that they edge it out over the Vikings and take them in 5-3, right? But they're still vulnerable and they don't get enough sorted out over the bye week. They play the Packers 5-4. They play the Lions, could be
Five
five
and
and
five,
five. They
potential
play the
5 and 5.
Cowboys, who at home, they struggled against in week one. Now, as we figured out last week, week one's a bit of a liar, but I don't think it is in
Mm-hmm.
this case. Potentially 5-6. The Chicago Bears, see where
Six
they're
and
at then.
six.
Probably six and
Six and we'll
six.
say 6-6.
There's LA Chargers. You're 6-6 going into December.
Yeah.
Right, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games left. Two of them against the Commanders, one of them against the Bills, and you've got the Chargers and Raiders. Now, congratulations, you've got the Raiders. There's at least what? There's at least 7 wins in the season. Well done. The Chargers, again, they're a team that's really weird for me at the moment. I don't know what they're all about. They've lost pieces. They've looked okay. They've done bits. I'm just not sure on him. That could be a win. That could be not. I'll grant you a win, but neither of those Commanders games are guaranteed, and that Bills game, like we don't know what the Bills are going to be at the end of the season.
Mm.
Mm.
That last three, you you could be fighting for still for a wild card place, let alone be in the playoffs. You could be fighting for a wild card place because that's a tough schedule, no matter how you toss it up.
And I don't trust Nick. I just don't trust Nick Sirianni.
I've not trusted him for
I,
years.
I, I, I don't, I don't trust him at all. Coming down from the Andy. He was from Andy Reid's coaching tree, wasn't he? Nick
Yeah,
Sirianni, wasn't he? Yeah,
Yeah.
he's from Andy Reid's coaching tree. It's quite ironic how any of Andy Reid's coaches don't actually turn out that good, actually turn out that good, apart from you know. But no, I think the Eagles are in a fair bit of trouble with this one. They continue to have stinky performances or lose games. The noise is just going to get louder and louder and louder. And at some point, you're gonna have to nip it in the bud on who? The OC trading AJ Brown, trading Devontae Smith, or what you're gonna do?
Mm.
The simple and the most obvious thing to do is give Saquon Barkley the bloody ball.
Yeah.
Make him run 20, 25 times a game. Go back to last year. That was what you was good at. Saquon Barkley last year ran for over 2,000 yards.
Mm.
He's scheduled to run for not even 900.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell are you doing? You just took away the number one, the number one piece that you have that got you to the Super Bowl in the first place, and now you've just watered it down.
Mm.
It just makes no sense. This Eagles team.
have a
And
good.
they're looking at probably about 50 less attempts based upon current stats. They
Yeah,
maintain the stats they're on. 50 less attempts on the floor, and like you say, probably 1,000+ yards less.
yeah.
It's just it makes zero sense. He's only got 3 rushing touchdowns this year. He had 13 all of last year.
Mm.
Yeah. I do have a segue into the next bit, but I'm just going to verbalize this one. When Carl said that, then you didn't say it this way, but I heard it this way, almost like Jason Statham in Snatch, right? I heard, you know what to do? Give Saquon Barkley the bloody ball, right? As in, I don't know what it computed in my head exactly like that, and I was like, do you know what? I feel I'm all behind this. Now, speaking of the Eagles, they need to get it back on track, right? Um, I'm not going to speak much about the Bucks. We all know what the Bucks are, all that sort of stuff. The Eagles need to get it back on track. Now, my game of the week this week is the Eagles versus the Vikings. They are on the road at US Bank Stadium. Between these two teams, there have been 31 meetings, and the Eagles hold the series record 16-15. First game was played in 1962, and the Vikings ran off to a 7-0 lead in the series, which lasted from 1962 to 1978. The Eagles currently on a 2-game win streak within the series. They've met 4 times in the playoffs in the 2008 wildcard series, so it was actually 2009 the game was played in. The Eagles won that one. They met in the 1981 divisional round. The Eagles won that one. They met in the 2005 divisional round. The Eagles won that one. And then they met in the 2018 NFC Championship game. Anyone to guess who won that one?
Oh, we're Philadelphia.
That would be the Eagles. Yeah, 4 times in the playoffs. The Eagles have won all 4 of them. That game famous though because that was the game just before Philly Special. The all-time scoring, and this is why I had another game planned, but this has worked out so well because I am a child, a 30-year-old man-child. The Eagles outscore the Vikings in the series 749 to 690.
You saw the word six
Yeah,
nine.
I did. Well, I did. Yes, I did. I did. And I very much was like, this is the game for me. This is my kind of series. The Vikings will obviously mess that up this weekend. They will no longer be on 690. Hence why I had to grab the ball by the horns and just take it this week so we could have 690. That's my game of the week, though. Both teams, just as a little preview on this game, both teams Eagles desperately need a win. Vikings are looking to take a little bit more control of their season. Win, loss, win, loss, win. Had a bye week, fresh legs. Can they put a string of games together? Um, that's my game of the week. We'll speak about it probably a little bit more at the end of the episode when we do the pick'ems. But just a quick one. Like how do is the pressure on the Eagle? Is it simply on the Eagles? Is it how the Eagles respond to going 2 down? All eyes on Philadelphia, Nick Sirianni, and what they do this week.
It will be. I think Sirianni is going to be very, very careful how he manages this offense because Brian Flores is going to throw everything at the Eagles offense in this one. You just look at Jalen Hurts when he's having to throw the ball. He's not clear cut. He's not getting his throws out on time. You can see why AJ Brown's getting a little bit annoyed. Um, the Vikings defensively could cause the Eagles problems. The problem is that the Eagles defense could also cause problems against the Minnesota Vikings offense because I don't think no one and their mother could trust Carson Wentz at quarterback. I don't think they can. So the only one you got is Mason at running back. Yes, you have got Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, Taylor Naylor. You've got TJ Hawkinson, but you got Carson Wentz throwing the ball. And I was hoping that when he came in on board, Kevin O'Connell has been able to make, you know, a bang average quarterback actually look decent, get the worst out, and get the worst out of him. Maybe not Carson Wentz.
To the face.
Sometimes it could be good, sometimes it could be shit. You
He did
can't.
well in that. He did well in that first game, didn't he?
You
And
did
then
well in
after
the
that,
first game. Yeah, I'll give it
he's kind of
credit.
dropped massively off.
Yeah, just
I, I
gone.
think that it's weird. Both these teams are quite similar. Both have an elite wide receiver,
Mm-hmm.
have an elite wide receiver too, have an elite tight end. The only difference is both have quarterbacks, which I think are how
Mid, mid.
inconsistent is probably the
Okay.
word I would go with. I think that
Well,
very
Wentz is
inconsistent.
definitely mid. Okay with
He is mid, but
that.
the quarterbacks in terms of passing are very inconsistent, and the big difference for this game is the running backs. And if the Eagles can finally go back to the old system of, like you said, give Saquon the ball, let him do what he does to teams, they'll win this game. And he'll be the difference maker. And they need to start doing that because, like you say, both defenses are strong, both are solid. Um, and is Nolan Smith back for the Eagles or not?
I'm not 100% sure.
Because that obviously that'll play a big part in terms of how the game goes. I'm just wondering if he is actually available or not.
Uh,
Quick look. Zach Bourne has practiced, even though he had a finger injury, so he's back in full practice. Um, Jalen Carter full practice as well. Can't see anything about Nolan Smith.
Nothing I know so much. I mean, he came off a tricep injury. Was that during the Super Bowl? Oh no, the start of the 20. I don't know.
Either way, I can't see anything about him not being there. I can't actually see his name. That's the problem.
It says, what is it? A report from ESPN, to be out through Eagles November 2 bye. So I don't think he's even close.
Oh, so he isn't going to play then.
No, so I don't think he's
No.
close. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But
I was going to make a point about the fact that having him back would have been a big bonus, but having the likes of obviously um, Zach Spawn fit to play and having Jalen Carter there obviously are two big pluses on the defense. And again, I think that they have enough on that defense to be able to cause massive problems for Wentz, along with the Vikings having the same. So yeah, I think it'll be a very good game. I just want I want to see the Eagles do kind of lean on the play on the difference maker. I think if they're going to win this game, they need to start using Saquon better
Yeah.
because if they do, he'll take them to a victory. He can take a team on his back and win a game. So
no, agreed. I think this game is going to be. I think this game is going to be fairly competitive. I think this is going to be quite a close game. Picking this game is going to be very tricky. Um, it's in Minnesota, so it's not in Philadelphia. It's in Minnesota. Uh, Eagles need to get out this funk. If they lose this game, alarm bells.
I think being away for this game is actually a benefit to them because their fan base is really toxic, and especially if they're not playing well, I think it creates a really bad environment for them.
If right, I need to have one quick look at this just to remind myself where they're at. Right, so the Eagles are 4-2, Commanders 3-3, Giants Cowboys 2-3-1. The Giants are 2-4. Giants look all right now. The Cowboys aren't as bad as we thought they would be. The Commanders they've got Jaden Daniels back. The Eagles not looking great. Now we are on for potentially now another year of different winner of the NFC East. No one goes back to back. How frustrating would it be if this is purely a hypothetical, if the Eagles capitulate a little bit, Cowboys take them over, Cowboys get into the playoffs ahead of them in the
That's
year that they are
embarrassing.
having?
That's embarrassing.
How
I,
bad would that be?
I think that the Eagles would get rid of Sirianni.
They'd
I
sack him
genuinely
on the
would.
spot. They'd sack him.
I think they would.
If they failed to make the playoffs and the Cowboys took the final wild card over them, oh my God, the fallout,
I
the
I have this.
fallout of Philadelphia. It will make it will make Vancouver, who rioted the city in 2007 and lost the Game 7 of the Stanley Cup, just look like a little bit of a scuffle.
I would.
They'll burn that city to the fucking ground.
If I was Roger Goodell, just for the fun of it, I'd say, can you at least let Jerry Jones be in the room for it? Maybe let Jerry Jones tell him he's fired instead, because I think that'd be funny. Just think
And
it
then
in my
give the
mind.
middle finger up in return. There you go.
Yeah,
What would be? It would be the perfect. It would be the perfect storm in that Eagles team, because imagine if it goes down to the last game as well. They lose to the Commanders on the final day at home, and the Cowboys take the final spot. Imagine the head loss in that stadium. It would be immense.
I don't follow any Eagles podcasters, so
I'd
I'd
be saying,
start.
I would.
I'll be searching high and low for every single one. Eagles
They,
radio, Eagles podcasters. The crash out begins.
you can imagine that they'd have to get the National Guard out for bloody Philadelphia for that. Jesus.
Just the
Yeah.
National Guard.
Um,
Mm.
I've seen some interesting episodes of Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I'm sure that reality would end up matching some of those. Um, Before we move on, I want us to move on now from this. I want us to start with Sam. Can we get our fantasy game day stuff in? Yeah, let's get this fantasy game day stuff in. I've got one more thing, and then Carl's double bumper.
Yeah. You want me to actually give it to her? I was expecting
Where's the elaborate
plug.
intro in that?
Yeah, I was
Right,
expecting
okay,
the
well,
plug.
so
Oh my god.
right,
Usually the plug comes in and then we go
yeah.
into it, and I was confused.
What is it? Men in Black, where I'm alright. I'm going to do like 30-second memory. No, I don't know about you, gentlemen, but this weekend, uh, I will have a little flutter on the National Football League. Couple of quid down. Feel like it enhances my experience watching football for Sunday. I don't know if any of you will do the same.
We do
Yeah.
indeed.
Ignore the fact that Carl has a betting segment on that. I also don't know about you guys. I like to play a bit of fantasy football, right? I just few leagues, few players. That helps me understand what's going on around the league just a little bit more. How well players are doing, how badly players are doing. I don't know about you guys. Let's ignore the fact that Sam's on a fantasy football podcast and runs his own leagues.
I do enjoy a bit of fantasy football.
Yeah. No one would know.
No.
I have to ask the question. Now, for years, I like to do the same, and I always wondered, like, imagine if you could do both of them at the same time, and then DraftKings came along, and then DraftKings left. And then in steps the heroes that are Fantasy Game Day, the first and only NFL daily fantasy app by UK fans for UK fans, and they have partnered up with us at Hurdle the Line to give you a little treat if you sign up to Fantasy Game Day, the link to which you can find in the description. Download the app, set up an account, and when you do, use the promo code HRDLE, as HRDLE, hurdle without the U.
But there's no hurdle the line without you.
Stunning. Beautiful. Didn't practice that. You can get a free plays worth up to £7.50 once you sign up and deposit and play for the first time. Also hopes that we get a little bit of a kick out of that. When you do so, and then you can join our Discord server as well, by the way. If you want some more tips, come and discuss your lineups, who's going to perform well. We'll have some things going on in there. Again, it's a free Discord server. Please join via the links and the buttons in the description. Sam, if someone were to do such a thing, got any advice for them?
This is a tough week because I've been looking through, and there's very few players where I'm looking at thinking they are like amazing value for money. I think probably someone I would be looking at where is he? Someone I would maybe consider, again, this is more looking at flex positions. I would maybe be looking at someone like a Keishon Booty. And yes, Booty, the name Booty. Um, and that, to be honest, it's just starting to feature more in that Patriots offense, and I think he's starting to show a bit more of the player that we saw in college before a lot of the attitude issues that started arising. And I think we're now starting to see the talent come through in that team. And he seems, I mean, Carl, you'll have much more of a comment on him than me. I haven't watched too much of the Patriots, but it seems like he seems to have quite a good relationship on field with May. He seems to have a good connection with him, which potentially may be helping with that. So he's probably someone I would look at as an additional spot. He is only 3,600, so it's not a lot. I just think he'd be a good potential flex player. The other player that I was looking at was a running back, if I can find him again. And again, it was someone who performed very well last week, in a position where they need to, we don't know who's going to potentially be the lead guy in the Chargers, but Kamani Vidal had a great game last week. It was between him and Haskins.
Had him in both my leagues. Had him in both my
And
leagues last week, and he absolutely bossed it.
yeah, and I think he could potentially be one that you might want to slip in as a flex position as well. Again, he's only 3,200, so it'll help you. It'll allow you to get some more premium players, and allow you to sort of develop a bit more of a team. The other one that I wanted to mention, another wide receiver, and this is based upon the fact that Marvin Harrison Jr. is still in concussion protocol. He is not allowed. He was yellow shirted today, from what I remember seeing, and that would be, what is he called? Wilson. Is it Michael Wilson?
Mac Wilson.
Is it Matt Wilson? I thought
Is
it
it
was Michael Wilson.
Mac Wilson? One of the two.
Either way, the bloke that's in Arizona, the wide receiver Wilson in Arizona, I thought it was Michael Wilson. Um, but he is someone else that I would be looking at as a potential. He's only valued at 2,400, and he could potentially be the wide receiver 1 or 2, if you don't count McBride, in that division, in that game against the Packers. So he's another one that, again, a cheap option, where you could potentially throw him in. I've tried to avoid tight ends this week because I talk a lot about tight ends.
Brilliant. Thank you very, very much, Sam. And if you agree with Sam's takes, you disagree with Sam's takes, or you have any takes of your own, again, please join us in the Discord, talk to us about them. So before we get on to Carl's double bomber, I was meant to do these the last couple of weeks, but given that this weekend is the final game in the UK for the international series, final London game, I thought I'd do a little bit, as promised previously, a little bit of a quiz regarding this. So, got 3 rounds, 5 questions each round. We'll try and fly through them as quickly as possible. So the first round is, because the game's being played at Wembley Stadium, I thought I'd do 5 questions on the NFL at Wembley Stadium. Number 1 is, which year was the first Wembley game played?
2007.
2007. Well done. Which 2 teams played in that game?
Dolphins and Giants.
Correct. Only one London game has ever ended in a tie. Which 2 teams were playing in that game?
Commanders, Bengals.
Yes, it was. Well done. Carl. Which
Carl's
year?
already done this quiz.
I ain't done it. I done. I just got good memory.
Which year did the Jags play their first home game at Wembley?
Was it Indian 2016?
Nope.
Oh,
2014.
Mm-mm.
2015. We'll split the two.
Nope. Wrong way, wrong way. You went the wrong way.
2013.
2013.
Okay.
And finally, for the Wembley round, the most points scored by a single team at Wembley in a single game.
I want to say the Patriots, but I don't think it was. Was it the Patriots for like 35 points? Oh, hang
The,
on. No, whoa, whoa.
Was it the
Oh,
Rams?
no, 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 no,
We
no,
put 30 points on.
no, no, no. Jacksonville.
nope.
So someone's put a 40 burger on in Wembley, instead as well as
There have been
Jacksonville.
more than 140 burger put up.
Ah,
So the answer, and there's like a two-parter to this one, I guess, is the most points scored by a single team is 45. Now, this has been done twice at Wembley. Which two teams?
Dolphins?
Nope. Carl,
I'm trying to think.
you were
has to be.
right.
It's got to be the Patriots because we played twice there. It was like 35 to Tampa, then we beat St. Louis.
Yep. So the Patriots are one of the teams to put 45 points up versus the St. Louis Rams. So
Way back when.
Sam was kind of right in the fact that the Rams played in one of those games. The other team to do it was
Seahawks? I mean, I could just name all the teams. I'll get it eventually.
the answer is
um,
The Packers?
nope. The Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
oh, okay,
Put
fair enough.
45 points up on the Lions in 2015.
Ouch.
Um,
I only
they
started
were-
watching the NFL in 2018, so this is all before my time.
yeah, and you only watch the Rams anyway, so
No, that's only college football that
oh
I
yeah,
only
you
watch
only
one
watch
team.
Texas.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Patriots 2012 won, beat the St. Louis Rams 45-7, and in 2015 the Kansas City Chiefs beat the Detroit Lions 45-10. Going on to second round, which is Jags versus Rams. History. How many times how many times in this series has a game been played? Awfully worded.
Are you trying to say how many times have we
How
played the
many times have
Jags?
the Jags played the Rams in the regular season? Or in just in non preseason, a game that counts?
9.
Nope.
12.
Nope.
Mm.
One more guess,
Can't
and
be,
then
can't be too many.
one more guess, or just want the answer?
Go with 15.
6.
6. Yeah, I
Oh
didn't
my
think it was going to be a
God.
lot.
Can you tell me what the record is in that series?
4-2 Rams.
Rams are a bit better than that.
Oh, 5-1 then.
6-0.
5-1.
5-1.
5-1. The first game was played in 1996, but they didn't play again until 2005. I think just due to the rejigging of the divisions, it just didn't work out that they would play again for a while. On October the 15th, 2019, bear in mind, sorry, one more thing on the 5-1, the Jags' only win against the Rams came in a Rams 20 at Jags 30 in overtime in 2009. The Jags won 20, Reeds 20. So yeah, the Jags' only win was a field goal in overtime. On October the 5th, there's not a lot of history between these two teams, so some of these questions we've had to get a bit desperate here already. On October 15th, 2019, the Rams traded with the Jags to acquire which player?
Sorry, repeat the question again.
On October 15th, 2019, the Rams
Jalen
traded with.
Ramsey.
There we
Mother.
go, Jalen Ramsey. Now, can you remember what the Jags got in return? It's like a part B, but I'm not really that
Was
bothered.
it like a third round and a
It was a,
fifth round?
Mm-mm.
no, it was a first round.
Oh, they go first.
They got a first round pick, didn't they?
Mm.
Or second round pick.
Nope, two first
Two
round picks.
firsts, two
They got,
firsts.
two first round picks.
I knew
It's
there was at least I knew first was involved.
Oh, crap. The Rams gave up that
the
much.
Rams.
We didn't like first round picks.
No,
Remember?
they didn't. They didn't like.
F those
Yeah,
picks.
They,
That was your mantra back then when you won the Super Bowl.
they
F
were
those
like,
picks.
in April, Sam has a job, and we don't want him to stay up late on a Thursday night to watch the draft. So we'll just do him on the Friday night and Saturday night
exactly.
picks. So they really did, like Brad Holmes and all that at the time. They were just like, we'll think of Sam when we do this, and I think that's really
Mm.
lovely of them. Why they don't care about you anymore, I don't know. But yeah, a 2020 first, a 2021 first, and a 2021 fourth round pick were the compensation. So again, this is like desperate times call for desperate measures with questions, and we're only on question 4. In which Netflix television show did former Rams and Jags quarterback Blake Bortles become a running gag? Desperate times.
Netflix.
I actually really, really like this show, and it's just the only question I come up truly off the top of my own head.
Running gag.
And again, I'll be very
Was
sorry.
it what was it? Was it a comedy? Can you give them narrow it down?
So I'm gonna
Was it a comedy
I'll
drama?
actually. There's one name I missed out of this. Right, there's one part of this question I actually missed out when reading it. In which Netflix television show did former Rams and Jags quarterback Blake Bortles become a running gag? Blake Bortles. It was The Good Place.
I
I've
definitely,
never, not gonna lie, never even heard of the show.
never even heard of it. I
It
hope it was something obscure. I hope it's not obvious. I
it
don't know, like
was
Like Brooklyn 99 or something.
it was from like the creators of The Office. They went and made like a new thing for
Oh,
Netflix,
right, okay.
and it's basically about heaven. Like few people they die, they go to heaven, but they don't really go to heaven. They go to what's like a fake heaven. It's actually hell, but
It's like a purgatory.
no, not quite because there is like a purgatory within there. It's like
All right.
it's like hell were redesigning what hell was gonna be. So traditional hell was just torture.
Hmm.
This hell was going to be psychological torture. So you put 4 people who don't deserve to be in heaven, make them think they're in heaven, and everything keeps going wrong in heaven, and each one of them thinks they're the one to blame for it going wrong. It's quite, but
So
it's a
it's
comedy. It's
basically
quite funny.
so that's basically like everyday life then, basically.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Um, but there's a running joke in it. So one of the guys, Jason, is a bit of a muppet. Is like a DJ from Jacksonville, and he's a huge Jags fan. And anytime he does anything, he's like if he throws anything, he shouts Bortles, and he's a huge Jags fan. And it's like at the time
Right.
of Blake Bortles when Blake Bortles was okay. Um, so like I say, desperate times. And finally, in the Jaguars' only win ever over the Rams, which former ITV commentator and Channel 5 NFL analyst rushed for 133 yards and 3 touchdowns. Had to find something with this one. I'm sorry.
Is it the English guy?
Nope.
You
But
were thinking of
he's
JHI, wasn't you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
a bit
no.
before JAJ's time. It was like
Mm.
2009.
I did think so. I was just it was I heard ITV and thought maybe they threw him into that, but
Like I said, he's done quite. The reason why this was relevant because he's done quite a bit of work for UK TV and NFL.
is it the guy that's always on with Phoebe Schechter at the moment?
Don't know.
He
Because I don't
wears
see.
he's I'm gonna have to look him up. Give me a sec. I'm not looking up who that is. I'm looking up who this is now.
I don't know. I'm stumped.
You'll know the name. I promise you, you'll know the name when you get to it. And I don't think you'll kick yourself, but you'll be a bit like, oh yeah, because he played for the Rams. Not the Rams, the Jags.
Jason Bell was who I was actually
No,
thinking of, but he never played for
No,
them.
he was a giant. So
Yeah.
Semenyor. Um, play for the Rams. Oh, good grief.
as soon as I say his first name, you'll get it. Maurice. Apparently not. Maurice Jones-Drew
Oh, motherfucker! Oh.
stole the show in the Rams.
I knew right. He played for the Jags. Right,
Nine
okay. I
seasons.
seen him. I seen him on Channel 5 before, and I was like, he's obvious. He's obvious, and I was like,
Yeah. Again, there's not a lot of history between the Jags
Yeah,
and the
we don't have
Rams.
a.
I had to find questions to ask that somehow became relevant. Um, Finally,
I didn't know that he is currently the color analyst for the Los Angeles Rams.
Mhm.
There's a useless bit of knowledge I picked up.
so finally, last five questions all feature around not the quite the theme of this episode, but was something we're grateful for with this episode. The number 100. In which year did the NFL celebrate its 100th anniversary?
The NFL.
The NFL. I have a book about it somewhere. From the 100th year.
2017,
Nearly.
2018,
Keep going. One more. One more.
2019.
There we go. 2019.
I knew it was around that time. I just couldn't remember what year it was.
As part of those celebrations, the NFL released a few lists, a few top 100 lists. Who was named number one on the NFL's all-time top 100 players list?
Number one in the all time.
All-time top 100 players list.
What position?
Wide receiver.
Megatron?
No. Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice. I was
Yeah.
going to say, I'll give you a couple of hints.
He was
Three-time
the other
Super
one.
Bowl winner.
Of
Super Bowl
course.
MVP, two-time NFL Offensive Player of the Year, 10-time first-team All-Pro, 13-time Pro Bowler, two-time NFL, just like that, insane.
It would. I mean, it does help when you got Joe Montana and Steve Young thrown to you.
Yeah.
Every year, the NFL releases their top 100 players going into each season. Which player has featured on that list the most times?
Tom Brady. Shocked at that.
He's joint second.
Ooh.
This year.
Um, as of this year, he's joint second. I think the actual list itself started in 2011 as well, by the way.
And this is all time.
Yeah. So basically since 2011. So they only released the NFL Top 100 has only been around for 11 years, like since 2011.
What
So
position are we thinking?
quarterback.
Right, okay. Well, that
So
narrows
a
it down.
quarterback who would be in the top 100 of all time since 2011,
But so
essentially.
the top 100 players every single year. So
Oh, so
the
it's
2011
100.
top 100. Yeah. So the one that Saquon Barkley was number one this year, Tyreek Hill was number one last year.
Yeah. Okay. Who's been in the most since 2011?
Mahomes?
Nope.
I would have said Stafford.
Nope.
He's been around the longest.
Has he though?
Aaron Rodgers, then.
Aaron Rodgers been in it 14 times. She can find Matt Stafford in the list. Uh, 8, 9. No, he's not even in the list. Well, he's not been in it 8 or more times
Yeah,
since then. Um, Tom Brady was joint second with Trent Williams with 12 entries into this list.
fair.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously, Tom Brady was in it every single year between 2011 and 2022.
Out of interest, was Aaron Donald in it every single year of the 10 years he was in the NFL?
Aaron Donald, where's Aaron Donald? He was in it 9 of the years 2015 to 2023.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
apart from his rookie year, essentially.
yeah.
Mm.
He was number 1 in 2019 as well. So anyway, what 2 more questions. It is a three-way tie at the top of this list, but what is the like how many is the try this again. What is the record for the most 100-yard receiving games in a regular season? How
So
many
who's got
times?
over 100 yards receiving in multiple games?
Yeah. So what's the number? Which number of games is the record in a regular season? And 3 players hold it.
I'm assuming you mean consecutive games.
No, not necessarily.
Oh, so
So
just 100. How many games across like a 17 or 16 or 15 game season?
yeah,
Someone get
yeah.
100 yards.
So you might get 120, 150, 86, and then but that like it still counts going after. Most 100 plus yard receiving games in a season.
14.
Nope. Less.
I was going to say 12 originally.
I thought it was 12, and then I did some fact checking and realised that my information tend to lie to me.
So this is where we were saying about ChatGPT lied to you,
Yes.
and then it lied about the lie.
And then it lied about the lie because I followed it up with just like, I've just researched this. This information is wrong. And it's just like, oh, that's correct. And then gave me the same piece of information again, just worded slightly differently. I was like, no, it's still wrong. Um, right. Okay. So the number
So it's 11 or 13 then.
11. 11 is correct. Can you name the 3 players who have 11 100 plus yard receiving games in a season?
And again, is this from, are we
All
talking of all
time.
time?
Pretty much all time, yeah. You think a good chunk of the NFL, there was like a point where there's only 10 games in a season. If
Yeah.
that. So. All of them have technically been within my lifetime.
Okay.
I'll give you that. All of them have been within my lifetime, and I'm 30 years old.
Is one of them Jerry Rice?
No.
The other one that I would have gone with would have been Calvin Johnson.
He is one of them, yes.
Yeah.
One of the 3.
Randy Moss.
No. Sam, you should know this. You should. I want you to think of someone who had a very, very, very good season.
Cooper Cup.
Cooper Cup had 11 100-yard receiving games in a season. And the final one, and this is why I say technically in my lifetime, because I think by the time the season finished, I could about crawl. Michael Irvin in 1995.
Michael Irvin.
Okay, so last one is in the NFL's 100th season, 100th anniversary. They released the top 100 plays of all time. Can you tell me what the number 1 play was
Top
off
plays.
of that list? And I don't think you should overthink it.
Philly special.
No. Go way back.
Top plays. There's a play in the Super Bowl. The 49ers. I think Steve Young through to Jerry Rice. That was one of the plays. Okay, it's not the top one.
Was it the fumble Rooski? Any chance?
No, that's not the
Not fumble Rooski,
How
but
far are we going back here? Are we going back 80s,
I'm
90s?
going to say 1972.
Oh my fucking god.
No, no, seriously, you should know this. It is regular, and every year it comes up a million times. I know, I'm going to say it, and much like the other one, Carl's going to kick himself. I'm almost certain of it. It's got a name.
Oh, it's staring at me like I don't know. It's got a name, has it? It's what's called a name for it.
Yep. There's a special name for this player in
I didn't
1972.
know, but I have looked it up, and I, looking at it, yeah, you should know it, Carl.
It is the greatest player. I don't care. This is the greatest player of all time in National Football League history.
Think give him the team.
Steelers. It's for the Steelers. Right. I feel like we're gonna go on too long here.
No, I'm sorry.
You ready, Carl? Right.
Yeah,
I promise you're gonna get the Immaculate Reception.
I've heard of it, but I can't picture it.
Right. It's the ball gets thrown, bounces off a helmet.
Oh, hang on. I'm going on YouTube now to have a look
It
myself.
really is like when I early days of the NFL, like I was in early days of the NFL getting into it. Some of the history that I looked up, this was one of the things. It stands out on a million different levels.
Right, just let
Um,
me go through the
Yeah,
adverts.
it was where he
It's
caught
loading
him
up
just
now.
before it hit the ground, wasn't it?
so
Yeah.
while Carl's watching that, I'm going to read you what it says on the NFL website for the NFL 100. It was 2 days before Christmas in
Oh
19.
my God, yeah, I've just seen it.
It was 2 days before Christmas in 1972, and the Steelers needed a miracle. Down a point at Pittsburgh's Three Rivers Stadium in the divisional playoffs against Oakland with 22 seconds and no timeouts left. It was 4th and 10 from their own 40. In their 4 decades of existence, the Steelers had never won a playoff game. Quarterback Terry Bradshaw dropped back, looked for receivers, and, niftily avoiding two would-be sacks, fired a long pass down the middle towards running back Joe Fuqua. But arriving along with the ball was a hard-hitting Raiders safety Jack Tatum, who ricocheted the ball back towards Steeler territory, destined for the turf. Incredibly, Pittsburgh's Franco Harris, a 230-pound rookie running back, nabbed the ball within millimeters of the ground and scampered down the left sideline for a 60-yard touchdown and a 13-7 victory. Although Pittsburgh would fall 21-17 in the AFC Championship to the eventual and undefeated Super Bowl winning Dolphins, the Immaculate Reception represented a sort of beginning to the magical stretch of 4 Super Bowl titles in 6 years that would cement the 1970s Steelers as one of the greatest dynasties.
Okay. As I said, I've just viewed it now I'm getting the flashback for it now. It's like, yeah, yeah.
If you have never seen, if you are still watching, if you've never seen the Immaculate Reception, please YouTube it. Because it's like no amount of that can do it justice. When you actually watch it, it's incredible. Um, so Carl, do you want to round us off by giving us your double bomber for the week, and then we will wrap it all up.
We'll do, we'll do. Okay, so last week, not great. Neither one came in. Your small sevenfold missed out on 2 touchdowns, one by Pittman Jr. and one by Travis Etienne, which is a bit of a shame. And then the ninefold, well, that just fell flat on its face. Not good, not good, not good, not good at all. So whilst I was doing this, I've actually made a very big error here. I've actually got you get more money to win the very small sevenfold than what you do if you stuck money on the ninefold. So Pin your ears back and we'll give you this, okay? If you was to do the sevenfold, here are your 7 players that you put money on. Rico, this is to get a touchdown anytime as well. Rico Dowdle, Quinston Judkins, Devon Achan, Stephon Diggs, Roma Dunze, Dallas Goddard, and the Chiefs returning wide receiver Rashee Rice. And yes, that is a bold move going for someone who's in his first game of the season. But hear me out. That £5 gives you a nice 1,373. Now onto the big ninefold. And remember, I've split this into two because this includes the London game as well. So if you want to include the player I've got for the touchdown in the London game, more than welcome to. That player in the London game is Kyron Williams, if you want to stick him in there. Your other players to get touchdowns in this fold will be DeAndre Swift, Jonathan Taylor, Kiari Vidal, Tyler Warren. Notice I put 3 players here in the Colts Chargers game. I think that's going to be an absolute, that's going to be points fest galore. Josh Jacobs, George Pickens. He scored a touchdown in every single one of his games, so he's pretty much a dead cert. Bijan Robinson, of course. And even though this guy has let me down over the last couple of weeks, I still have my heart on him, and I still think he's still going to get touchdowns. Amon-Ra St. Brown to get the touchdown as well. If you take Kyron Williams out and you just want to do the eightfold, that £5 will give you back 718. And I know that sounds less than the sevenfold. But if you add Kyron Williams to that list, you get £1,231 back. I think this is where we're going to start seeing the prices start to get lower now. People are starting to work out who's getting the touchdowns. So those are my double bombers. Good luck. And remember, please gamble responsibly.
Yes. And only if you're an adult.
And only for an adult and you're over 18.
Yeah, we've had that problem before, encouraging children.
Yeah, no children betting, please.
Okay, so that's it. That is the end of our 100th Hurdle the Line episode. There are a billion hours of us talking. And we're grateful for every single minute of every single one of them. Here is to the next 100. And we will see you on Monday. Tuesday morning. We've got Monday night for the review show for episode 101. And then we will see you next week on Friday morning to preview week 8 of the NFL season. Until then, hurdle that century.